What's going on, YouTube? Up and Adam here, and today we have another Madden 22 video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to prepare and make millions of coins next week during the playoff program. So, before we jump into this video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button, turn those notification bells on for more Madden content. Okay, we're jumping right into this one. Lots to cover here, but the playoff promo is coming very soon. They have not announced it yet, but we are going to stay one step ahead of it and make sure we are prepped before everybody else does, so then we can make a ton of coins once it does release, most likely next Friday. So let me show you the content from last year, what they did and how I prepared for the first week and how I made so many coins from it. So myself and Mark, we put together this little spreadsheet for us to get prepared on what Madden 21 playoff promo looked like and how it worked. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the cards and what we should be doing in order to prepare to make a ton. If it's going to be similar to last year, like I expect it to be, like very similar, I think there's going to be a lot of ways to make coins early on in the first release, but then it will get a little bit trickier moving forward. But definitely for the first release, we need to get in on this. So as you can see here, last year it started on the 7th, right? So, or the 8th or something like that. It started pretty early. I think it was like the 8th or 9th last year. But this year we have that extra week of the NFL, so I don't think it's going to happen until the 14th. I think they'll release the playoff program on the 14th, so the day before the wild card games start, and this is what it looked like. So the first part one, every playoff team received a 295 overalls, one offensive and one defensive player. Okay, the sets for the 95 overalls required any 389s to 90s, 587s to 88s, 785 to 86s. Okay, so they needed a bunch of cards there. So you're probably right thinking what I'm thinking. We're gonna need some overalls. We're gonna need some like 85s, 86s, 87s, all kinds of those. How do we get those? Why should we be investing in some of those cards, especially while they're pretty cheap right now? Having a look at the zero chill cards that are down in price right now could be a really good investment before they get put out of those rerolls. So we'll talk about that here shortly, but let's have a look at Mudhead and how their program shaped up for part one. So it came out on the 8th last year. Part one, it was all these players of every team that was in the playoffs. So the Bears had all these players. I'm not gonna go through all of them right now because there's a ton of them, but the main thing was we had a master, and then we had the 95 player celebration fantasy pack. Okay, so you were able to exchange, like I said, you saw here, the 389s, the 587s, 785s, all right, to build one of the 95s, and then you needed 3 of those. Okay, you needed those cards to be put into the master here, and then you were able to get them back as Nat. We'll probably get them back as NCAT because that's what they're doing this year. Last year was all about the Nats. This year is going to be about the NCATs. Okay, but then it changed a little bit. The week 2 was a little bit different. Okay, so week 2 we had more heroes. Players who moved on, they had their masters as well, the wildcard week master. Then they had the heroes from the wildcard games. The main thing was that you needed the master set required 3 95 heroes plus 1 91 to 93 overall wildcard player. The hero sets required 193, 191, and 289s, and 387 from the wildcard week. So we're going to be getting playoff cards. So that's where it's a little bit different, but they did give us a set where you can buy. Okay, so this is where it's going to come in handy to keep some of those get a player packs. Okay, there was another set that required to get the 87 overall wildcard player. You can require you need 283s, 380s, and then 4 golds. Okay, so you can be prepared with those with the get a player packs. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that is the main thing. And then it was the same thing moving for the next parts of those programs. So just showing you quickly here, this was the part 2 of it. Came out a week later, which I think is going to be the same thing. We'll have it constantly arranged up until the Super Bowl. Okay, and you see right here what you needed from these packs. Okay, and there was like a couple of things that you could have done to exchange up because you need to get the 89s and whatnot. So if you want to exchange up, you could. But what the main thing was for the last 2, I'm just going to show you them really quick. Part 3 was very similar. Okay, and then part 4 was that last part there, and then we had the Super Bowl program later on before the Super Bowl started. Okay, so there you go. So we know how the program is probably going to work. Obviously it might be a little bit different, but they usually tend to do something very similar year in, year out. It's not really a drastic change. So what I'm thinking is it does not hurt to start stacking up your binder full of these 85s, 86s, 87s, all that. I'm gonna start stacking up the binder here. I'm already like grabbing some of the 91s from Zero Chill. They were really cheap earlier. Okay, they were like down to like 56k when I was buying them. Now they're back up because people know that training, they're gonna turn into the training value. So there's still some profit there. My focus is gonna be trying to grab as many like 87s, 85s, 86s, and just hanging on to them. I'm gonna hang on to them. Worst case scenario, we don't really use them and I can just sell them. They're not gonna go down in value all that much. I'm still sniping and I'm still getting them at like the cheapest value right now. So even at the worst possible thing that we don't need them at all, which is very unlikely in my opinion, I think we're definitely going to need them. I have them and I can either just sell them back or I can build this new sets when they do come out and make a lot of profit early on, okay? So one thing you should be doing to start building that, yes, it's harder to build like the 85s, 86s, 87s, 88s, and that stuff, but there are some exchanges that you can definitely use, okay? But the first thing you should be doing is stack up on those get a player packs, okay? I know it's a little bit of a time consuming, but I'm personally, even with all my coins and stuff like that, I'm still gonna jump into the get a player packs. I'm gonna hang on to like my higher golds and then all the elites I pull, save those, and then I'm gonna exchange my low, like my silvers and low golds up as we go, depending if they're expensive or not. Obviously, go watch my get a player video, okay, if you haven't already watched it. But I'm gonna stack up on those elites because I do think we're gonna need them. Another thing that myself and Mark have been testing a little bit is these pro fantasy packs, okay? We are putting together a little bit of a method where we're opening a bunch of these and seeing how much we can make back and if it's worth it to go in with like big quantities. And right now it's looking pretty good. You can definitely stack up a lot of those like 87s, 88s, 89s from these packs, okay, while you're using like your lower overalls to build like team builder 1s and team builder 2s. It's been really coming in handy and really nice. So we're gonna like continue to play around with it. I'm not gonna say it's a method right now because we haven't done enough testing on it, but we're getting there. So I'll keep you updated on that. But it's another good way if you are gonna, like, if you really do enjoy opening packs, hang on to some of your higher overall cards because I think those prices will go up once people realize we need them for the playoff sets, okay? So that's pretty much all I'm gonna be doing to prepare. I'm also gonna be sniping, like I said, I'm gonna be sniping those low overalls, like the 80s to like 85s. I'm gonna be sniping like 85s to 90s. There's some good exchange sets that if you have a lot of a certain card and you want to do some exchange sets, some of them are pretty profitable right now, especially this set right here. The 87 to 88 is nice and the 89 to 90 is still nice. I'll talk a little bit more about these in a future video on how to make coins off of those, but those are some really good sets if you need to exchange up and you're getting a lot of the 85s for really cheap. You can just exchange your way up and build up to what you need, okay? So it's pretty simple, right? The video is not a long video here. I want to just go through the best ways to prepare for the playoff program. I do fully expect it to be coming out on the 14th, so next Friday. But if you're able to prepare this week, you'll be able to have a lot of coins ready to go. And as soon as they release the sets and you need these cards for it, the prices will go up. You can sell or you can build some of the new playoff cards and make some profit or get some free cards as well, okay? So there is all you need to do in terms of the playoff program. I'm not going to go over my predictions yet because there's still another week of football left, but we're starting to see the playoff picture a little bit now, so you can definitely kind of think which players are going to probably get upgrades, okay? For me, as a Cowboy fan, I'm definitely thinking maybe a DeMarcus Lawrence will get an upgrade, okay, on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe on the offensive, we get like a Zeke, maybe an Amari Cooper, something like that. So be on the lookout for players, teams that are going to be making the playoffs because they're going to be an offensive hero and probably a defensive hero to go along with that. So there could be some coins to be made in some investments as well, okay? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was informative. Make sure you prepare. Preparing is the best and easiest way to make coins in Madden. If you're prepared for a program, you're going to be able to make a ton of coins moving forward. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. That also helps the channel, and I'll catch you with another video very